Welcome back to Two Canadians at Kafe Lise, a bigger podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Anton, and with me is the other host, DJ Spencer.
Hello.
Hello. It's episode 53. It's the end of the year, and we are going to do our year in review. So please like, share, and subscribe with this video. We appreciate it. Leave your comments. We got quite a bit of comments on the last one. And that was awesome. People were
Yep.
engaged, and we like that. So hopefully there'll be some more here. Wish lists are maybe a little bit easier to engage with than a review of the year, but you never know.
Yep.
We'll be talking about the different seasons that came out this year and what each one brought, and then also discussing, what were some of our favorites from the year, episodes or whatever. So yeah, but yeah, it was an interesting year this year. This was the first year they went with the 3 season structure. So they had, planned, um, 3 seasons to come out, 4 months a season, and,
Mhm.
they kept to it. Like, I don't think they had any extensions this year, did they? Yeah.
Nope.
Like, they gave the 120 days, and then they pretty
Yep.
much were right on schedule with it.
Bang on. And downtime's been pretty much like a minimum when it comes to like the new season launches type thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to see.
Yeah. So that was a good change because all the previous seasons, quite often there was a lot of, they say they would be ready in 60 days, but then, oh no, we have to extend it. And there were a lot of extensions previously. So even though it would have been nice to have more seasons, having the 3 seasons and and having them just perfectly do the next season on time, it was nice. You know,
Yep. Yeah, and that's what they mentioned in the roadmap, right? They said they want to focus on quality and not quantity type thing. So uh kudos for them to
yeah,
like actually saying that because it's like it's one thing to just like churn out stuff, but it's like if it's full of bugs, it's not going to help whatsoever.
yeah,
So
no,
it's definitely good to see.
for sure. Yeah. And so when this year started, it was just at the tail end of season 10. So there was just a couple weeks left of season 10 before they went rolled right into season 11. So that was the first new season of the year. For us, it was like the second episode in of the new of the year. So our first episode, we were doing a map review. We did Grantheim. So we did several map reviews throughout the year, where we chronicled each map and talked about them and gave our things. We did a few interviews throughout the year, which that was kind of cool. But yeah, a lot of the content was obviously keeping track of the new seasons as they came out. But yeah, as we go through, I'll bring up what were the highlights for each season that they as they released them here. So
Mhm.
I'll bring that up here now. Oh, that's here. And yeah, the first was a season update 11, season 11. That's where it was the second Chronicles season. So the first season Chronicles was season 10. Um, and then came season 11. What was season 10 called again?
Stalkers.
S No, that was 9, wasn't it? 9 was Stalker was that because it was Chronicles,
Oh,
um you should know these things. Oh, I have it, I think I have it here somewhere. Let's see. Season 10 was
was it Absolution?
that might be it. It might be Absolution. Chronicles was that Vengeance? No, Chronicles Vengeance. There we go.
Oh yeah, yep.
On the ball. Okay.
Oh yeah, Absolution was yeah the one in May,
Yeah,
season 12. Sorry.
right. So the first Chronicles was season 10 at Vengeance, and then season 11, Perseverance was the first one to come out in this year. Um, they Kirsten came out that with this season. A
Yep.
new set of cassette tapes. So in almost all the seasons with the Chronicles name, they released cassette tapes except for this last one. So this was the next set of tapes. I have yet to listen to them all. I really have to sit down and just go through all the tapes. Um, the Remy came out this season. They also did tweaks to shotguns and sniper rifles this season. So was that the first set of tweaks they did, or was that no?
Yeah, yeah.
It
So this
was.
is when they started doing the rework, and this
Yeah,
is like this actually made shotguns viable.
yeah,
Because it's like the hit registration was way better now. To a little extent, they went a little too far, and but they did tweak it. But yeah, like shotguns are very like viable at this point
yeah,
in Vigor. So
yeah.
it's definitely nice
And
to see.
the Remy was a great shotgun then, and still a great shotgun now.
Hmm.
Um, for a 9 slug or a 9 cartridge shotgun, it's fast. Yeah, it's one of the best. La Chiave or La Chiave, however you pronounce that, is a good shotgun as well, but not quite as fast. Like the Remy is just
Hmm. Yeah,
really
and
fast react. That one.
it's got decent range to it too. Like it
Yeah,
is fantastic.
yeah. They came out with the improvised mine on this season, or some people call it the
Hmm.
chimp improvised mine.
Yep.
So I don't use that one very often, but and I don't see it out there very often either. Do you ever see it out there? Do you ever like run into it? I know I run into like regular
Yes.
contact bombs, but
Yes.
you do?
I actually I made a YouTube short because I made a monkey on myself, literally. Because so long story short, someone put a contact bomb by a lock container, and I heard it, so I shot it, and then I'm running around the container saying, and I literally say, "Do you seriously catch anyone with that thing? Like it's literally right there." And then I hit a improvised mine, and I literally said, "I they made a monkey out of me." So
Nice.
yeah,
There you go, yeah. I
it's
think the
not
only time I
often, but
ever
yes,
use them yeah, no, like, the only time I ever use them is if I pull one from something, like, if I pick it up and then
yep,
I might throw it down. I
yep.
don't always remember, but I might throw it down. And it's a good
Hmm.
mine because it gives that there's not really
The
an is there an
stun.
auditory signal with that one? I don't think there really is
Yeah,
there?
there's
Like,
a
when
little bit.
you trigger it,
Yep.
there is, but is there, like, when it's just sitting there, do you hear it?
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Yep.
So,
You
that's a good
just
one to try to catch people with because it doesn't make any noise until you trigger it. Then
yep.
you have a chance to get away from it, but,
Yep.
um oh, yeah, and then there was, like, whatever Brotherhood of something pact, what sort of irregardless, it's just some kind of pact they had at the time. But, yeah, so, yeah, Perseverance, update 11. Um, anything else on that one? Not really, that's about it.
Yep.
Then this
Yeah.
season was the season they had 2 updates, is the only
Yep.
one that had 2 updates out of the 3 this year. Um,
Yeah, like full updates because it's other ones have had like hot fixes and whatnot, but
true.
actual like updates is like this one did have the two, like you said.
Yeah. 11.1 was the first update, where they added a new legacy season, um,
A popular
improved
one.
tracing on some stuff. Yeah, season 6.
It,
Yeah.
because it introduced the armored plate plan. So
Yeah, gave back the armor plate plan for people to try to get it. And that's an important one to remember because, as they said, this last update they did, they released the last legacy season they're doing. So you have some time to try to, you know, finish any legacy seasons you have. And
yep.
if 6 is one of the ones you're working on, you know, work on it because you want to try to get if you don't have it, try to get
Hmm.
that plan. There'll still be ways to get the plan after they get rid of legacy. They have a whole thing
Yep.
coming, as we mentioned before, but just so you remember, try to finish 6 if you really want to
Yep.
get it now. Um Then also at this point in this update, they've made it so you could purchase season levels, like legacy season levels. I know like in the
Yep.
regular seasons you could purchase the levels before, but you couldn't do that with the legacies and they sort of brought
Hmm.
that little things. Well, it's a minor update, so little things like that they did. The enhancements to climbing and vaulting were pretty big on this one. It really improved vaulting, like, it made it a lot
Yep.
smoother, so you could be, like, running towards, especially I find this one when you're running towards some of those raised up, um, railings, I guess, you know, like, on decks and stuff. If you run
Yep.
up and hit the vault, it's a lot smoother to jump up and go
Yep.
over, as before you'd be, like, jumping up and down trying to catch the sweet spot, and yeah, it
Yep.
was a big improvement.
Yeah. The guardrails is a lot. uh, smoother, like everything, even like going up and down ladders. And one thing that was cool was like the dev stream that either preceded this update or like was the day of this update. Actually, like they showed some debugging screens where they actually showed the path of the person actually going in and out for all the testing type thing. So it was kind of cool because it got like really technical. So,
Yeah.
and as you know, we here at Two Canadians at Cafe Lise really love the technical dev streams.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's fun. Yeah, it's great when they give us those extra details, yeah. Um, and they also did added in skipping of tracks in the shelter's
yeah,
music player, which was nice.
yeah.
This
You can
wasn't
make it
where you
favorites
could
and stuff like that.
well, that wasn't here yet though, was it? I think that was later on when
Yeah.
the app made favorites.
No, I
Maybe.
thought
Or
that was it.
maybe that is it. I can't remember. Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah.
This might be it. Okay. But yeah, that's 11.1. Nothing yeah, minor update, 11.2, the next minor update. They added another legacy season at that time.
Mhm.
Um, and then it was just mostly generic fixes and such.
Yeah.
Revamped the initial onboarding for new players. So I think that was more tips. It wasn't the full because they just did that in the last update where they did a whole new actual input import thing for new players. But this is more of like new tips, I think.
So this it was like little changes where you couldn't go into like shootout and limbs, like it was kind of locked out. So that kind of changes. And then uh your spawn point actually got moved up closer to the tutorial board in your shelter type thing. So it like a bunch of
Oh,
stuff like that. Um so
okay.
it Yeah, and little things like that, and then I think there was changes too where when they came out of, like, an encounter, uh, it would actually bring you to, like, your equip tab, instead of just, like, your general shelter type thing. So, it's
Yeah.
just to kinda, like, help people out because I guess too many people would go in doing a naked run unknowingly. So,
Yeah, and we hadn't been mentioning when things came out, like 11.2, this update came out and on April 26th.
yeah,
So like the first that was February 1st is when season 11 premiered or came out. The first update was in March 15th, and then this update was April 26th. So they were that the first season they were pretty good. They came out with a couple updates each month. It
yep,
it was coming along pretty good.
yep. Um
Um,
What
Go ahead.
one thing about that 11.2 update, the redesigned premium packs, I remember like it was a little like controversial for some of the more veteran players who have bought it because the pricing on them got greatly reduced,
Yeah.
and some weren't thrilled at that because like people would literally be able to get it for like I want to say like it was like a third of the cost for some of them type thing. Uh, but I think the premium packs were expensive. Like
Yeah.
here in Canada, it's like what was it before, Doc? It was like $120 or $130 for the premium packs. I want to say
Around there.
like it
Yeah.
was something like that, and
You
now
also
I think
saw a
it's
lot more crowns
$90.
at that time too, because they reduced the number
Yeah,
of crowns and they reduced the price. So that was a
yeah.
big part of it too. But yeah,
So
it was up there. It was like $120. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
yeah. So and then US, I think it was 99 type thing. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it's kind of
exactly.
like that. So, anyways, and yeah, and the one thing that was cool though was uh, so for the Outlander pack, um, you actually could use the headwear on a different body compared to like before it was like the whole outfit set. You had to use it. You couldn't customize it. So that
Yeah.
was one thing that was kind of cool too. So,
Yeah, they improved some of the customization options, that's true. Yeah. Um, they also you mentioned maybe take us through, they also released the roadmap, in March as
yeah,
well.
yeah. So
That was basically yeah, go ahead and tell us what that was.
so March 1st, they released a YouTube video, as well as a blog post, um, talking about the future of Vigor, and they pretty much said we're not going anywhere. And they outlined, like Doc said mentioned earlier, uh, they decided they're going to do 3 seasons in 2022. Which I was thinking about that just before this. I thought they meant like 3 seasons every year after this, but they literally specified in the blog post 2022. So I'm wondering if
Right.
in the future it might change. Um,
Well, yeah.
and then they also said they were going to introduce monthly content, which we pretty much have had. Um,
Yeah.
they wanted to rework on the onboarding thing, which has been ongoing all year. Like you'll see through all these different updates that we're going to go through. There's been different aspects touched pretty much every update, and they were going to continue revamping the challenges, which they have, and
They did
they
a
were
lot.
going to yes, yeah, they actually did, and it was like step by step type thing. It wasn't
Yeah.
just all one shot.
Yeah.
And then they also mentioned that they are going to look at Vigor's endgame content and shelter improvements. So we haven't technically heard anything about endgame content yet,
No.
but they have mentioned uh, shelter improvements. Where again, Doc mentioned again, there is going to be one coming that is going to replace legacy seasons. So
Right. Yeah. So that yeah, they sort of they pretty much kept to that roadmap, and like you said,
mhm,
the only thing they didn't really touch on was so far, and then the year's almost over, is the end game well, I guess by the time
yep,
this comes out, the year will be over. Like, as we're
yep,
recording this, it's just before, it's like a week before this comes out. So when you get this, the year will be over unless they say something in this that week after we release it, which they're not going to.
yep.
But
I, I was looking at some Vigor content to for the review type thing, and Vigor actually on Boxing Day last year released a video of their year in review a year ago today, like on the
oh, okay.
26th of December. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm wondering if we're going to get one like in the next coming day, like the upcoming days.
That'd be
So
kinda
it
cool.
would be
So
kind of
if
cool.
we,
Yeah.
if they do that and we have we're obviously not talking about it's because it happened after we recorded,
Yeah.
so that's why we're
Yep.
not talking about it, if it happened.
Yep. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the roadmap.
So that's the roadmap, and it was kinda cool that they came out with that. It was we've talked about, it's kinda cool to go back and look at some of this stuff now, throughout that's happened throughout the year because I know in previous episodes not too long ago, we've talked about the fact that it didn't seem like they had a someone steering the ship, had an
Yep.
executive director or whatever it is, like,
Yep.
someone planning things. But then when you go back and look at what they said at the beginning of the year, and they pretty much kept to it, pretty close.
Mhm.
They've been following their little roadmap, so, you know, there still may be the need, like we had mentioned,
Yeah.
um, for a creative, director or whatever you wanna call it. What is it?
Executive director
Executive director,
or
right?
executive producer. Yeah, something like that.
Producer, yeah, whoever's really, like, the person who's really taking the reins of the game. So, um, they might it might be something they should have if they don't.
Hmm.
But at least they had a direction this year and they were following it. So it's good to look back and see that. Yeah. After 11.2, then we got the next season. And that was season 12. Update 12, season 12. Do you want to take us through this one?
Sure. Season 12, Chronicles Absolution, released in or May 31st. So this introduced the extended battle pass of 75 levels, uh,
Yeah.
which,
I think they kind of learned with the previous, like season 11, they didn't do the 75 levels and it was a long season. So
yeah,
they figured, okay, we need to add a bit more to this.
yeah. It, at the same time, I'm curious how many people completed this battle pass compared to previous seasons where when it was just 50. Uh,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure they've added more double XP weekends with this, like the extended seasons and stuff like that. I feel like there's like two or three now compared to like the one, maybe two prior. So
Yeah.
um, didn't actually go back yet to actually go see it, but um, nonetheless. Uh, so this one is scientist themed. It kind of like brought in the whole with the theme, like the radiation grenade was introduced here, or radioactive grenade. Uh, it brought in, it introduced the beards, new cosmetics. Um, it brought in the overhaul of eliminations, which some people like the way it works may not be the greatest fans of, because you have to purchase a loadout and whatnot, and you can buy tickets to break the locks and have duplicate loadouts and whatnot. The rewards have been like amazing. You see people grind eliminations just to get like large stocks of weapons and materials. Um, that it's been pretty popular anyways, for the most part.
Yeah,
And it brought in the new elimination map. So they reworked Fist to have three different levels on it, and it kind of rotates in and out with Anakin with the original elimination maps. It also introduced the L86 machine gun, and it also, a small little thing, it introduced a reroll of challenges. So if you didn't like one of your dailies, you could reroll it, depending on the difficulty. It'll cost a different amount of crowns.
yeah,
And then probably the biggest thing on this one, aside from like the battle pass levels, the machine gun rework, which
yeah.
essentially brought on the machine gun meta that we're kind of still living, but it's not
Mhm.
as popular, I
Yeah, it
guess,
was like
as when it
it
first
was a
got
like
released.
a yeah, it was like pretty much all of season 12 and even the beginning of season 13 where machine guns were pretty much everything.
Prevalent. Yep.
Yeah, and yeah, nowadays when we get to the newer, like current to the more current seasons, where they did a little bit of reworking on it. It's at the point now where yeah, I'll still see some machine guns out there, but it's not like everybody and their dog has a machine gun anymore.
Yeah.
You see a lot more variation now.
I kind of feel like it's the community just getting tired of the LMG meta, and you'll just see like literally the sweats that are just trying to grind for kills. That'll bring them out for the most part. Like because like you said, it's not as prevalent as before, which is kind of
Yeah,
nice. And like I've kind of refused to like pick out machine guns for the most part, uh, because I don't like it. I'd rather have like a skill to kill someone type thing. So,
yeah.
um,
Yeah,
um,
and I know even when I see sweats nowadays, it's a little bit of everything, like, with them. So,
yep.
I definitely see sweats, like, rocking everything. Even
Hmm.
SG-1, I've been seeing a lot more SG-1s recently, but yeah, so we can I don't know if does that did it when did they do have they done a rifle rework? They did a while ago. They did do a
Yep.
rifle rework at some point. So, anyways, yeah. Um
Uh,
Yeah.
okay.
So that was 12 Chronicles Absolution, the beginning. Uh,
Yep.
Next is 12. They did a 12.1. So this season only had
Yes.
one update, like one major update. They had tweaks and such.
Yep. All right. I was just like looking over my notes. Uh,
Yeah.
so 12.1 came out. Uh, let's see.
July 26th, I
July 26th.
yeah.
So July 26th introduced a pool of new challenges, which kind of hurt because the week prior
It
we had
just
released
did.
our challenge episode, but it was still nice to see because it brought in like it says a brand new pool of challenges, stuff that we
Yeah.
haven't seen before, where it's like set off car alarms and use like different tools and whatnot. So it was great. It's actually good, and it included challenges as well for eliminations and shootout too. So
Yeah. And
definitely
that was
nice to
good.
see.
And it was interesting because yeah, when that first came out, there was a lot of those ones with car alarms and such. I don't think I've seen a car alarm challenge in like forever, like since then.
Oh, I
I
still
don't know
get
if
them.
you still get them? Okay, so that's
Yeah,
good. I was like,
yeah,
I'm most of my challenges have still been pretty standard, like build these, deconstruct
yep,
these,
yep.
get headshots, use this weapon to get some kills. Those are
Hmm.
my dailies have been pretty straightforward, like pretty standard. There hasn't
Okay,
been a lot of like though the other day I had
yeah,
one get a vinyl.
Oh
So
yeah, yep,
a little different, but
yep.
yeah, I'm not seeing as many of the interesting ones.
It's cool because there's some variations to like find a vinyl because there's somewhere it's like get find a troll, find a lighter, find. But there's one that's actually just a generic one where it's like find a memento or point to a memento type thing or
Or
ping. Sorry,
Penguin.
ping. That's
Yeah,
what it is. So
I've had that
it's
one
kind of
too. That
cool.
one's good.
It's kind of cool that they have all these different ones.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, there's all that kind of stuff. Next, new reporting system. If you go into encounter or like any game mode, you could see the list that you've last played with, and you could actually report them through the game if you suspect, cheating or uh, different categories, griefing, stuff like that. So, um, very it's very new. We haven't heard of anyone actually getting like suspended or banned or anything like that. Maybe at some point we'll hear something, get
yeah.
some stats or whatnot. Yeah, I don't even think they've actually said how many reports they've received.
Not
But
well,
it,
I know I've missed some dev streams, but I try to go back and look at the notes and everything,
mhm,
but I haven't seen anything mentioned
yep.
about it, so I'm assuming they haven't, like, given that stat out or any kind of stats out yet. Oh,
Nope. I'm still
I just
here.
lost you. They're still here. Okay, we still have him. We just don't have his picture for some reason.
Yeah, it's all good. I'll try to troubleshoot. But anyways, yeah. So the reporting system came in. Uh, the uh, drop shotting was mitigated. So there was kind of like a delay before you could fire and whatnot. I think it's still a little controversial because uh, some people think that you shouldn't even be able to shoot while you're falling type thing, and there should be a bigger delay. Um, but anyways, it's been tweaked. A lot of people were asking for it, and this came about, so it was kind of nice. The stagger
I think
functionality was
it's
reworked as what?
yeah. No, I was just saying, I think the drop shotting was largely successful, because I don't well, like, personally, I don't really notice it, like like it used to be, as a thing now, but I don't know, maybe you noticed it more?
So my take on that is it's still around, it still happens, but I think the people who would drop shot are now jump shotting more than before,
Yeah,
than
there's the
doing the drop
jumping.
shot. So
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think that kind of came about, and I don't remember if this was the update that jump shotting came about. It's not listed in the general notes, and I didn't actually look at the change logs
Yeah.
to see when it was, but I think it was about this time too. Um, so, anyways, yeah, it was kind of a nice change. Um, now,
And you were mentioning the stagger.
yes, so the stagger got reworked where it was more consistent on all the weapons that do have stagger. And I believe this also applied to, or the rework basically mimicked what the improvised mine was. So
Right.
you had like kind of like the flash and kind of like disoriented kind of camera look and whatnot.
Yep.
It's more consistent throughout everything. Um, and then Elimination again had another UI rework. It wasn't ready for the initial launch of the season, but basically the reward screen, you got a new animation, and they also added the option to break the locks between rounds um, for a higher cost of crowns. So,
Break the
uh,
locks between rounds. What was that?
so if you didn't buy tickets at the start of the game,
Right.
you could
Yep.
break the locks. So instead of $3 to break a lock, it was going to cost you 5 crowns within each
Oh,
round.
I didn't know they did that. Okay.
Yeah,
So if you didn't buy a bunch of tickets or enough tickets, say,
yeah,
for the 3 crowns,
yeah,
you could still do it just at a cost of 5. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, I
So
didn't
they
realize
increased the
that.
cost. Yep.
Yeah.
And then another thing kind of goes with the new player onboarding experience. They reworked the game guide menu in the game system. Uh, Before it was very generic. Now it's super detailed. It is actually quite a bit to read, but it is filled with useful information for anyone just starting out. Um, or maybe veteran players who don't actually know, like, go into detail for some things. So,
Yeah.
so yeah,
So,
that's
so,
pretty much
uh,
season 12
yeah,
and 12.1.
yeah, it was there was a lot of good updates in season 12 for sure.
Oh, actually, there
Um,
was one other thing that happened in the summer months. So in the summer months, in June, Pyrit, who was the social community manager, she got promoted to producer. So June was her last month. She got promoted producer, like I said, and Forsythia picked got promoted to social media manager.
yeah, and before Forsythia was working with this in the social media department,
Yeah, she was the
helping
she was
out
the
the
junior
junior.
manager.
Yeah, so yeah, that was some nice internal shuffles.
Yep.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, so that was season 12. And then yeah, after the 12.1 update,
Oh,
um
and
not a lot like
j-
those things happened in August, but what were you gonna
yeah,
say?
uh, in August too. I don't know. Did we write it down? That was the anniversary. The third anniversary of Vigor. The full release happened in August. So we had
There
a bunch of anniversary challenges again. This one was a roadmap compared to the bingo from the previous year. So
yeah.
it was cool. A
Yeah,
lot of
and we
different
had
challenges and whatnot.
yeah, in our 45th episode, we covered the 3rd anniversary. So, yeah,
Mhm.
we mentioned that as well. So, there we go. That's probably why there wasn't a huge thing in August to do, because they were working on this anniversary stuff, so that
Mhm.
checks. Yeah. But yeah, after, 12.1 or after August, then in September, we came out with, the new season 13, Chronicles Deliverance, came out
Mhm.
September 20th. This is the one with the Arma theme. So as for this year, out of the 3 themes that came out, is for me, this is the weakest. I wasn't because I'm not an Arma person. I never really followed Arma, so I didn't care as much on this theme.
Mhm.
But there was still some really good stuff that came out of this season, besides the theme. The Berry M12 came out, and there's been some challenges. Like if I have a seasonal to get kills with the Berry, and I have and there's been some
Yep.
SMG challenges. Whenever I get an SMG challenge, like for a daily, I'll take the Berry just because I also have the seasonal with it. So I try to kill the two
Mhm.
birds with one
Oh,
stone.
nice.
Yeah, and it's not too bad. A little submachine
Yep.
gun as a side weapon, like one of the smaller
Yeah.
side weapon slots.
I would
I've
say it's the best secondary weapon.
yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree. Like the Raffica is still a strong pistol. Like
Mhm.
I've been using that a lot. But yeah, for
Yep.
an SMG, this berry is really good. The adrenaline shot as well. I'm still not at the adrenaline shot in my season. I've almost there. I'm on level 48 myself, so I'm almost got the adrenaline shot
Yep.
plans.
I
That's an interesting upgrade. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't use it unless I find it, like, a number of things, right? But it's useful, like, radiation's coming in, it's like, "Boom, I'm gone," right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, like
that's
that
pretty
in
much what I use it
combination with
for.
the, caffeine give you a really big boost. Like right now, I typically been using just caffeine. If radiation's going, I just go pump caffeine and keep going. Um, but yeah, adrenaline shot would be really good for that as well. Um, Seasonal challenges were introduced in this season, so that's where
Mhm,
you have like 50 different challenges to work throughout the 4 months of the season. They range from, really easy, you can get them done quickly, to ones that may
mhm,
take you the full season to try to finish. They can be quite difficult. You can re-roll them just like you can with regular challenges as well to
yep.
try to, and then you'll typically re-roll it with an equivalent level of challenge. I think are pretty close. Um, I'm trying to think. I re-rolled one. I think it was get so many kills over 100 meters, like one of those stupid ones.
Oh, okay.
For me, they're stupid. That's like distance kills. I don't get those.
Yeah.
And then I got like open the barred house so many times. So like
Oh, okay,
25 or whatever
nice.
many
Yep.
times it is. So something that's a bit more doable for me.
Yep.
Uh,
Oh, I totally agree. Like, there's,
yeah.
I don't even remember what it was. I got one challenge, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm re-rolling it." I'm like, I don't even. I know the season's so many days long. I'm like, no, I'm
Yeah.
good. Like, re-roll. It's like
Exactly. Yeah.
I didn't get the crossbow challenge for the seasonal, but I'm like, if that one
Ooh,
comes across as a re-roll, it's gone. Like,
yeah. Reroll again. That would be terrible. Oh, crossbow challenge. Um, improved airdrop rewards. What was? Oh, did they get rid of the common after when you get to the gold? What's the improved?
yeah. So when you boost after the fourth boost, instead of going to like a special issue and a common, you got a special issue and an uncommon.
Okay, good. Okay, that's why I thought it might have been, but I wasn't
Yeah.
100% sure.
Yeah.
Um, instant weapon crafting. So now you can, if you go to craft a weapon, you have the option to spend crowns to craft it instantly.
Mhm.
Rebalanced shelter improvements. So this was a lot of rebalancing of not just what it costs to make an improvement. So there was some of that making them easier to build, but there was also at some point where they rebalanced how the generation was going.
Yep.
Because they changed the food a lot. It used to be that your rat traps would take a day or a little over a day, I think, to fill. I
Yep.
can't remember exactly.
Yep.
But now they fill like twice a day, but they also produce less. So it's like if you have
Yep.
if your shelter's maxed out, I think my rat traps produce 240 food twice almost twice a day or whatever. So you have to go in twice a day if you want to try to get it
Mhm.
all. And yeah, they tweaked some of the other generations as well. I find that, like, my box of herbs,
Oh yeah.
fill up every day now. Um, Before it was just the wood pile that would fill up every day, now it's also the box of herbs.
And the rat
So
traps. Yeah, like you said.
and the rat traps, yeah. So, yeah, they totally rebalanced it. That was a I think that was a little controversial when it happened.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like, in my opinion, it's like part of the issue right now is there's so many people who are max shelter, and to make it a little easier for people to max out their shelter seems a little
yeah,
counterintuitive. But if in the grand scheme of things, if this is like a step for adding other shelter improvements, great. Like
yeah,
that's fantastic, and I'm all for it. But yeah, it is like I said, from the beginning, it kind of looks or the first look looks like it's a little counterintuitive. Uh, but we'll see.
yeah. Yeah, and I guess it also makes and when you're looking at it from the point of view, there's probably when they look at their stats, how many people don't have max shelters? Because yeah, there are
Mhm.
some of the diehards like us who have our shelters maxed out. For every one of us, there's like 10 who aren't even close, or even
Yep.
more. So they'll probably look at that like, well, the ratio is still really in favor, really at the point where there's a lot of people who aren't even close to getting their shelters done. So
Mhm.
I can see it from that point of view, trying to make it so more of an incentive for those people to try to keep going and not,
Yep.
give up. Yeah, it just when when you spend 2 years working on it and you finally get your shelter done, it's like, "Oh, it made it easier now." Like,
Yep.
yeah. And they improved the, first time user experience again.
Yeah.
Was this the where they added in sort of the AIs
No,
within the,
that's the next update. So
that was the next
13.1.
update? Oh, that was
Yeah,
okay.
I don't remember exactly what this one is.
No, I'm not sure either. Yeah. It might have been a graphics update or something no, that
Yeah,
might have been the for rework too. Yeah, it's hard to remember.
uh, yeah, I don't remember, but like I said, it was part of the roadmap, and pretty much every update had something.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then there's nothing in October, but then October was also Halloween, so they had some of the Halloween stuff in the middle of October. So it makes sense. And when you have those months in between where there's like a special event, it kind of makes sense that they don't have, necessarily something every month.
Yep.
Because they're still kind of doing something for that month, right? It's just
Yep.
focused on a holiday or something.
Yep. It's still
Um,
content.
it's still content, exactly. And then 13.1 dropped in mid-November. That brought us the last legacy season, which was Stalkers. This is where they did the whole new tutorial, the reworked tutorial,
Yep.
which introduced a little bit of AI. So there's a few people you could shoot at when you're going
Mhm.
through it. New in-game news system, so they reworked how they're pushing out news updates as you log in. Um,
Yep.
New set of vinyls, which was kind of cool. I'm
Yep.
still working on getting mine. I'm still a couple
Mm.
away. Um, and they're good songs, like the ones I've picked
Oh
up so
yeah.
far.
Yep.
Yeah, I've liked have you got them all yet, or are you still, working on them?
No, no, no. I'm probably halfway through.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got all the commons and all the uncommons now. I think I'm missing the one rare and the one, military.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the ones I have are like the more common rarities. I don't have the special or military or the common one
Okay. Yeah,
or
yeah.
uncommon. Sorry.
Yeah, gotcha. But yeah, so yeah, that was the 13.1. There wasn't like what else came out with that too? They did some more, updates to, machine guns, like
Yep.
just, tweaking them a bit more. They
Yep.
didn't mention that here, but they did.
Yeah. There was a few of these updates and like even a couple of the hot fixes in between
Yeah,
that had
yeah.
LMG rework. I think it was part of this update too. Um, this update had uh, a change where they're actually able to schedule like booster apocalypses and whatnot. So
Oh,
so because beforehand it was all manual. They kind of mentioned it in the dev stream,
okay.
but essentially they implemented a system in the back end where they could actually schedule stuff to roll out. So like I said, booster apocalypse, boom, it's like they could actually like just schedule it, double XP, same thing. It's like they have a certain end date. Beforehand, it was like someone apparently had to actually manually do something on the back end to actually start it. And I think there was even at one point, I think it was this summer or something like that. There was one time where like the booster apocalypse or whatever didn't start for like almost a full day after the fact because uh, I guess someone forgot or whatnot. So
Oh, okay.
this is a nice little thing that they did add in type thing.
I didn't
And
realize they did
speaking of
that
which,
stuff.
there is actually a booster apocalypse. It is Boxing Day, so I think there's like 3 days.
Yep.
Booster apocalypse every game mode right now. So
Yeah, not
um,
that this will help you if you're watching this,
yeah,
because
it's
you'll be
already
watching
done.
this after. It's already done,
Yeah.
but there
Yes.
was one.
Hmm.
Yeah, and they had it just before Christmas, they had a double XP one too, which was on odd dates too because it was, during the week when they had it. It was like a
Yep.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday as opposed
Yep.
to usually on a weekend.
Yep. And
So that was a
it was kind of nice because they actually in the dev stream where they announced it, they actually said why. So a lot of people were
okay.
asking why, and they're like, you know what? They're like, we get a lot of responses that people spend time with their families on weekends. They're not able to take advantage of it. So they wanted to see how it would work if they did it, say, like a Wednesday through Friday type thing. So good. Like
Well,
I'm all for like them saying it because we know why they tried it out. So it's like you know what, let's go with it. It was kind of cool because I got to stream one night with actually 2 nights. No, no, I canceled one stream because my son was went to bed late, but
yeah.
whatnot. Anyways, I got to stream one night with it, with the double XP weekend, and it was great. I had like fantastic games. I had one where it was almost 60,000 XP almost. So,
Oh,
uh,
wow.
yeah, it was a good game, and it's
Nice.
always fun. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy uh, stuff like this. So
Yeah,
it's just they can't do it all the time because obviously it's just going to make it too easy to like finish the battle pass type thing, right? So it is a
yeah,
long season. So
it is. Yeah, for sure. And then, yeah, like you said, they're doing the booster one right now, and it includes, I don't know if it I'm sure it probably did. I noticed today that it includes, insurance as well. So you get
yeah,
33% off insurance.
every booster.
Yeah, so that's cool. When you say every booster, is that also like your, eliminations and shootouts too,
Yep,
or
yeah,
yeah?
every game
Oh,
mode. So now instead of like 3 crowns for a ticket, it's going to cost you two. Um, the
mm,
the booster for like the scoring multiplier is going to be, I think it's 10, and it's going to be like 7, or
Oh,
something like
okay.
that.
Yeah.
And then yeah, shootout is going to be cheaper, like a third. Uh, yeah, so like spend your crowns.
Yeah.
I don't have a
Like,
ton left because the Santa Claus or the Doctor Claus outfit kind of like bankrupt me, crown
yeah,
wise.
it was, I bought it too. It was it was a bit pricey, but it's a cool style. It
Yeah,
is a nice outfit. I do like it.
yeah. I bought it on the 20% discount uh, day, so it cost
Oh,
me
man,
six
nice.
hundred and fifty crowns, something like that, instead of the
Mm,
850 or
I didn't realize.
whatnot.
Yeah,
So
I bought it at the 850. But then I got crowns from one of the, advent calendar things. So
oh
I
yes, that's right. You won one of the contests.
yeah, yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, let's go.
That helped.
Yes. Oh, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, that's been it so far. Like, that's been it for the seasonal updates for this year.
Yep.
So yeah, that was it was quite the season, or quite the year. A
Hmm.
lot of good stuff, a lot of good updates have came out, and a lot of good changes. I know there's still a lot to be done, and people always lament it, talking about all the different weapons that need to be updated, and they're working on it. And
Hmm.
they've mentioned it that they're working on all the different weapons that haven't been updated yet. So
Yep.
probably next year we'll get those.
Yep. So, Doc, how
Yeah,
about what? What if we do a year in review for like the podcast? So, what was what were some of your favorite episodes?
yeah. I was thinking about this as we were getting ready to go live here. It's interesting because we did, yeah, we've done a lot actually, like 20 episodes approximately, maybe
Yep.
just over this season, of this year. And I think some of my favorites were where we were trying to do things, like trying to check, test things or whatever. So like, we had an episode where we talked about lone wolf, and so we had to do like a whole bunch of lone wolf runs, which I don't do
Yep.
normally, right? So that was neat. I like that. Uh, it was cool doing the one where we we did the challenges, but then boom, like as you mentioned,
Yep.
right after we did it, they totally reworked challenges. It's like,
Yep. Yep.
yeah. Um, I had a lot of fun with the interviews we've done this year.
Yes.
We actually got a few in, like we had War Dog, we had Dizzy, and we had Bobo Rail on this year. So that was
Yep.
those were fun.
And then we did the round table with Dizzy and War Dog.
Yeah, to for our 50th, our milestone,
Yeah.
our 50th milestone. How about
Yeah.
you? What were some of your favorites?
Uh, I kind of want to say like a lot of the same ones.
Yeah.
Like I want to say the Lone Wolf one was tough because it was around the time where the LMGs were reworked. So
Yep.
I died a lot. So it was a little frustrating.
It'd
Uh,
be interesting to see what it's
mhm.
like now. Like, we'll go in and do
Yes,
some more Lone Wolves now. Yeah.
yes, definitely. The interviews, like War Dog, Dizzy, like it was such a good time. Like the interviews are like probably like one of my favorite formats, because the conversations just flow, right?
Yeah.
Um, I want to say too, um, the the map rankings was actually like really fun, uh,
Yep.
because that was something a little different that we did, that we haven't really done. And it's like you have people in your chat kind of like talking about it after the fact, and like some people will be like hard pressed to like defend their map and whatnot, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm like, I can't agree. You have the right to your wrong opinion, but
Yeah.
it doesn't change the matter that you're wrong. I'm kidding.
Yeah. I'd like to do some
But
more
yeah,
ranking this next year for sure.
oh yes, 100%. Like let's do more of those. Uh, like the Christmas wish list and like the shelter improvement talk, like those spurred so many good conversations.
Yeah.
And honestly, like it's one of the things I love about the podcast is like we have good conversations here. People comment on YouTube, or like even sometimes on Reddit we'll get comments, or like people reach out like on DMs, or like they'll come into our channels when we're streaming, and we have good discussions like that. And
Yeah.
honestly, I think it is fantastic doing that kind of stuff. You know, I love chatting about Vigor and things, and talking about the potential and tweaks that could happen and whatnot. So yeah, those are kind of like my favorite. And like one two that just caught my eye on the list, uh, the materials one, where we basically like did some research on like how to like maximize your materials, deconstruction, and stuff like that. Uh, like educational ones like that, like map guides are great and stuff, but it gets a little like plain and whatnot. But like
Yeah.
something like maximizing materials, and um it I love that kind of stuff. It's just like sometimes it could be a lot of work and a lot of encounters and a lot of dying for it, but it's research, it's for science and all that stuff.
Yep. And they've
So
made a lot of changes now too that we have to go back now and look at some of our old episodes where we
yep,
talk about where to find certain things because they
yep,
really changed, the distribution. So,
yep, yep.
um, yeah, so we
uh,
definitely have to rework a few, like,
yes.
revisit, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah, not just like the map ones, but like you said, the so you're looking for loot episode, which like I tell people like that is all time, like out of the educational ones that like we've done, I'm like has to be one of my favorite episodes,
Yeah.
because it's like so many people are like, hey, they'll pop into your chat and they're like, hey, I need chems. It's like, wow, let me tell you about something.
Yeah,
Go check out
exactly.
this YouTube video. There's a timestamp in there. Click on that timestamp. It'll bring you to the exact spot of it. But you could actually listen to the whole thing and get all the information you want.
Yep.
But yeah, so those are kind of like the favorite episodes as well. And it's been another fantastic year. We're up to like, what is this? 50, I guess 52 episodes after 2 years,
Yeah.
roughly. So we're pretty much bang on schedule. Like we've had a couple of like breaks over the summer, but
Yep. Yeah,
it's
there's
like
been
we've
some where
still.
we've had to push back or but we've even if we've missed, like, our regular scheduled push, we usually get it, like, a few days after, or sometimes we've had to, like, push a week and then, you
Yeah,
know but it's still been keeping pretty much on track, which is
yeah,
nice.
yeah, very
I
consistent.
moved during that time, so that made a big
Yes.
difference.
Yeah,
Having to,
yeah.
like, totally rework everything and
Oh my god. So,
mhm.
uh, we don't have any other like things to talk about on the list. But how about this? What do you look forward to in the new year? Sorry, I'm throwing like a curveball at you, and it's like not even prepared. I don't
Well,
even know.
yeah, that's kind of the thing too, right? Like, the only thing that I know that's coming in the new year, well, I should say new year, we believe in season 15, so in a couple seasons from now, is when they're talking about this new shelter thing, so
Yep,
that's definitely something I'm looking forward to. I know
yep.
they've alluded to that they're working on a new map, they've
Mhm.
kind of mentioned it, so it'd be interesting to see, what comes of that, if we see that this year, that'd be kinda cool. Because last year we had, Kirsten,
Mhm.
um and then, well, that was the only new map we got. They did, like you said, Eliminations got a new
Yep,
map rework, and so it'd be kind of cool to see what comes this year for that.
yep.
Because I don't, yeah, 'cause we have the two shootout maps now and the two elimination. Like, well, and I say maps, like locations, because there's like for the
Mhm.
eliminations, there's like 3 maps per location, 3 or more. Actually, there's more than three, isn't there?
Eliminations? Yeah, there's 3 per Anakin, 3 Anakin, and then 3,
There's
Fisk.
more than 3 for Anakin, though. Um,
Well, there's Water Tower, there's the warehouse, and then there's the sheds.
is that the only 3?
What did I
No,
say them
because there's
all?
also
Oh,
the
sorry,
ship.
4. Lighthouse. Lighthouse too. So 4,
But
sorry.
no, you mentioned
Nope.
a lighthouse, but you didn't mention
No,
the
no, I
ship.
said water
Just
tower.
where you went.
Oh yeah, there's ship, there's container too. So
Yeah, can
container,
so it's 5.
sheds, container, sheds, lighthouse, water tower, and then
Warehouse.
warehouse. So 5.
Yeah. So Anakin has 5, and
Yeah,
then, Fisk has is it
3.
just 3 for Fisk? Yeah, okay.
Mm,
So Fisk gave us 3. Okay. So that's a total of, I guess, 8 maps for eliminations, and then we have 2
yep.
maps for shootout. So it'd be interesting to see if they come up with anything new along those lines, if not a
Mhm,
new map, maybe a new mode. But I doubt we'll see a new mode. So most likely,
mhm,
if anything, it's gonna be a new map to play those in or something. So
yep,
yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm kinda looking forward to right now. Yeah. I don't know,
yep.
is there anything that you're hoping for? Well, we already did our
Um,
wish, so it's sort
yeah.
of this
No,
falls into
pretty
wish
much the
list.
same thing. I'm looking forward to like shelter improvements. I'm still kind of curious what this end game content is because, like I said before,
Yeah,
for me, end game has always been like maximizing your shelter. So it's after that, w- what is your end game
yeah.
expectations? I don't
Where do
know.
we
To
go
me,
from
like I
here?
said, yeah, to me, it's like let me restart or something. I don't know, but
Yeah,
looking forward to that. Always looking forward to new maps. Like there's so many guns too. It's like I don't necessarily need new guns um, because it's just like kind of like another way of gathering resources. But for me, but for the most part, yeah, new maps, shelter improvements. Um, Honestly, I'm kind of mentioned this like after the fact on like the podcast and on like the YouTube short that I made for it. Uh, Proximity chat. I would love to see proximity chat in Vigor.
mhm, yeah,
But nonetheless, yeah, I'm kind of excited to see like this whole shelter improvement stuff, which we should see in June. Uh, if they're still on schedule. So
yeah, yeah. And I'm kinda looking forward to seeing what the theme for the next season is, because as I mentioned, I wasn't a huge for me, Arma wasn't a big thing, so
mhm,
this season, theme-wise, didn't do much for me. So I'm really curious to see where we go from what the next one is, because
yep,
they always have some interesting they usually have some interesting themes, and then I sort of, like they sprinkle back and forth between military ones and ones
mhm,
that are a bit more, quirky or whatever, so I wanna see
yeah,
what the next theme is.
yeah. It is funny because like I've seen like some comments where it's like someone's like, uh oh, it's another military theme. It's like blah blah blah, and it's like literally you have someone complain that it's like I didn't. I
Uh,
hate this Vikings theme. What is this even about? What is this scientist theme? What is this all about? And it's like, okay, well, if we're not doing military grade stuff or military theme stuff, what are we supposed to do?
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
you can't please everyone.
No, you
But it's
can't.
like,
There's always gonna be someone
yeah,
complaining about it, yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So
we've had Junkers, I like I like most of the themes,
yeah,
even some of the military ones were I found interesting, um, but yeah, there was Junkers I really enjoyed, and that was, like, the year before,
yep,
Renegades was kinda neat, like, it was more of a little bit more of a Western one, but
yep.
it wasn't too bad, it had some interesting outfits and skins, so, yeah.
Stalkers was kind of cool.
Yeah,
Stalkers
Stalkers
had
wasn't
some really
terrible,
cool
yeah.
outfits.
Yep.
Uh,
Poachers
yeah,
was interesting too, it wasn't, like, my favorite, but it had some interesting outfits. Like I said, not my favorite, but it wasn't just it wasn't
trying
like
to
a
think which
bland
one's posters, or you mean
Poachers?
trappers?
Oh, Trappers, I'm sorry, you're right, Trappers.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, with the deerskin kinda
Yes.
outfits and the interesting improvised kind of rucksack and
I was. Yeah. I want to say Stalkers probably is like one of my more recent favorites. But like one thing about like this season, like I know you're not a huge Arma fan, but like
yeah.
we failed to mention, they had the crossover for the premium pack of or the Fallen
Oh,
Crown
yeah,
of Daisy, um,
right.
which is that was kind of cool as a crossover. Like, don't get me wrong, like I wore that bright yellow helmet, and to me it just yells, "Hey, look at me, I'm over here." But
You know,
uh,
I find, like, people think, "Oh, it's a big target," but half the time, if I'm seeing someone way far away and I don't have a scope, I just see a black dot. It doesn't matter what they're
yeah,
wearing. You see, "Yep, there's a black dot running there." So,
yeah,
I was like, "Whatever." And if they get close enough that they can see, yeah, I'm wearing a big red suit, oh, well, whatever. I'm it's gonna be a
yep,
close-up fight anyways, so
yep.
I don't
Uh,
worry too much about
yeah,
that.
yeah, but I love the crossover thing. And by all means, if they could, if there's some kind of like sharing of resources where it's like, hey, like here's some skins for the game type thing from Arma or DayZ or whatnot, and it frees up the time for the devs to work on something else. I'm all for it. So I'd be thrilled for that. And I guess the other thing too, I forgot to mention, um, for this coming year, like more improvements. Like we've seen
Mhm.
a lot of improvements the last couple of years since like there's been changeover. Like season 7 Trappers was like all about bug fixing, right? So uh, I think the game's kind of like in a good spot aside from
It's
like the
probably
machine guns,
yeah,
but it
and
is
well
pretty good
for
to be honest.
stability, I think it's probably the most stable it's been, like,
Yeah,
I'll still have a crash here and there, but it's not very often,
no,
so, but then, maybe there are people who say they crash more often, it'd be interesting to find out.
mhm,
I do know, and I haven't tested it in a while, like, on the Switch, I found it would,
mhm.
crash out more often, like, especially if I was just doing something simple like opening a crate. I quite often would
Oh
crash,
really?
but that
Wow.
was before I'm not sure if that was before 13 or not.
Okay.
So, I don't know if that's been addressed or not,
Hmm.
little things like that, but at least on my Xbox, which, to be fair, it's a Series X, so it's a
Yeah.
the most powerful one right now, it's been really stable, which has been great.
I'm kind of curious about like this coming year, not just Vigor itself, but like other consoles, if they're going to start abandoning like older gen consoles and strictly focus on next gen consoles. Because it's like
Right.
we're getting to the point where like they're getting more and more available. Like I know a ton of people who have been trying to get a PS5, finally
Yeah.
got their hands on them, and they're like, yeah, there's still like a bunch at the store. So I'm kind of wondering if we're getting to that threshold where they're going to say, you know what, sorry, older gen, you are falling behind type thing, and we're not supporting you anymore. Uh,
Yeah, like, I could see some games doing that. I don't know if I could see Vigor doing that right away
yeah.
anyways because
Oh,
that'd alienate too much of their player base, but yeah,
yes, yeah, and
at
that's
some
the thing,
point,
right?
it
They
may
they
have to
have the
happen.
data. Yeah, they have the data, and it's like,
Mm,
if it shows that hey, most of the people are playing next gen type thing, then so be it. But it'd be kind of curious, just like I said, not just bigger, but other games as well. Uh,
yeah,
because like honestly, it's at some point like they have to cut bait because it's probably going to hold back actual development and
mhm,
improvements. So
true. Because if they ever wanna, like, say, go to a next version of the engine or something,
mm,
if they wanna ever get to their engine up to the latest or whatever to help
yeah,
with new features and that kinda thing, then, yeah, at that point, they're gonna have to decide, "Okay, well, if we wanna, say, move to this new engine, we have to cut off the old," right?
yeah,
So, it'll be interesting, to see if that ever happens. I don't
yeah,
and I'm not saying that's gonna happen this year,
yeah,
but, conceivably in the
but it,
future, it could.
yeah, and they've kind of mentioned it too. Like it almost sounds like there's different code bases for or like conditional programming for
Right.
PS4s, PS5 type thing. So it's like it just makes it a lot more harder to maintain and whatnot, right? So uh, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like by at some point, it's like you kind of gotta like cut bait type thing, um, which is
Yeah, because
unfortunate
yeah,
for some, but
'cause we do see it right now with the faster frame rates and and some of the UI improvements that if you're on a next gen console, you get those things, but if you don't, or you aren't, then
Yep.
yeah, is that like two different sets of code they have to maintain? If it is, then yeah, it could be a pain in the butt.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but
Year in
yeah, there
review.
you go. That was our year in review. So yeah, it's been an interesting year. Looking forward to the next one, and yeah, and I'm really hope that yeah, I'm hoping that this we're at the the mid or late season slump right now, because when you look at and it's also around Christmas right now. You look at the Vigor category. There's not a lot of people viewing it right now, and or in playing it too. Not a lot of people.
Yep.
Like you look at the streamers, and it's like, we need a bump. We need some more people out there
Yep.
to pick up the mantle. And increase the viewership. That's for sure.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's the downfall of like having the longer seasons.
Yeah, because you get the people who grind at the beginning, and then they finish it within a month or two, depending on
Yep.
how hard they're grinding, and then yeah, they go off and they're playing other things. And meanwhile, the people who take longer to do a thing, we really notice it because a lot of the viewership starts to drop, right?
Yep.
Um, and sometimes you're just out there playing
Yeah.
to the bots.
Yeah. It's like, you know what? I'm like, I don't think video games for the most part, like, or some video games are not meant to be grinded like so much, right? And
Yeah,
honestly, it's like it's exhausting grinding all these games. Like I want to play like Hunt Showdown. I want to play Vigor. I, I might like I'm going to be able to finish the Vigor Battle Pass. Hunt Showdown just released like their event, which is like a
yeah,
battle pass as well. I'm like, I don't know if I could grind two games, and honestly, it's exhausting. I literally just want to sit down, play some video games at the end of the day. Stream on like the nights I stream and relax on the nights I don't stream. And it's like
yep,
I don't want to have to just play like just grind every night type thing, right?
yeah.
It's like video games aren't don't always have to be like that. So um yeah, I don't know where I
Yep.
was going with that. I'm just like
I know what you're saying, because
right.
yeah, I want to play more Hunt Showdown myself, but I've been trying some other games here and there too. So it's like,
Yep.
and
Yep.
Hunt, yeah, this is the first time there's a season or a pass that I could potentially try to take part in. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet,
Mhm.
but I do want to check it out because it does look interesting, this new one. So
It is fantastic, to be
yeah,
honest. It is the last event uh, that they had was Serpent Moon. That was super grindy and like as someone who plays it just like part time type thing is it was impossible to even move up the battle pass. And I had seen some interesting stats at one point, but uh, someone had posted that like previous events like it was like 25%, let's say, of the user base was actually like finishing the battle pass. And for that event, the numbers were way down. So
mm,
they've actually tweaked this event to make it less grindy, which is
okay,
nice.
good,
Like it just started like 2 weeks ago, I want to say.
yeah, I
Uh,
think so.
yeah, I think it was the 14th, December 14th. And it's like I'm already up to like level 11. And again, like I'm not grinding it. I'm playing it like 50-50 with vigor type thing. So it's not like I'm just playing hunt right now. So it is very enjoyable. It's a lot easier. Um,
And did
yeah.
you purchase the pass or
Yeah. I had a ton of like blood bonds. So it's like
the month?
I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, let's do this. I didn't buy the one where it's like you get like 10 free levels or whatever it was. I
yeah,
bought the regular one and just because I think it's the same thing where you could buy levels after the fact. And
yep,
I don't really have a need for that. I just want to play games. It's
and
like
have fun.
it's kind of like a way of like grinding, but I'm not grinding. But you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's
I know what you mean. Yep,
yeah,
for sure. But yeah, there you go. A little bit of hunt talk too. So,
yes. Uh
um,
But yeah,
yeah,
let us know, chat. Our viewers and listeners, let us know what you think of the year that's gone by. What do you think? How the game's doing? Uh, did you have a special podcast episode, or subject or something like that, let us know.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. And again, please like, share, subscribe, down
Mhm.
below. And yeah, this has been it. This is the last episode for 2022, coming out probably this at the beginning of 2023. So yeah, it's been a fun year, and we look forward to another. Um,
Cheers.
oh yeah, cheers. Not this for me. It's a rum and coke.
It's kind of gross. I've totally forgot about the eggnog, and it's been sitting there for the last hour. So
Ah,
mistakes were made.
mistakes are made. Hopefully they don't have any bad effects.
Way to kick off 2023
Yeah.
podcast season.
There
Ah,
you go.
bleh.
Yay. Um, but again, I'm Dr. Anton,
And I'm DJ Spencer.
and thanks for listening, and have a great night, and stay safe in the Outlands.
Bye.
Bye.
I've heard you say you lost your way, lost your way again. You don't see your reflection. flame of your